The following audio is via a Skype call.
When was the last time you did something that would take you closer to a life that you'd love? Get answers to this and many other life-changing questions on Grow Your Soul Radio. Ignite your inner magic and learn the art of life mastery with Jane Matanga. Jane will unlock and help you reclaim the magic in your life. Take an inspiring journey with Jane as you receive guidance toward the path of your greatest dreams and desires as she helps you reach success as you make powerful changes that will get you back on track and keep you there. Discover insightful tools, world wisdoms, and exercises in this hit call-in show. Transform and awaken your inner light right now on Grow Your Soul Radio.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Pat, and I am here with the host of Grow Your Soul Radio, Jane Matanga. Ignite your inner magic today. And by the way, throughout the show, if you are wanting to give us a shout or call in, 1-800-930-2819, please write that down. Those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, you can go ahead and do that, or you can comment on Facebook as well. Not exactly sure of all the details there, but we monitor it. We get your questions on air, and we make sure we get you answers. You know, Jane is somebody that works with people all over the world, and I want to make sure all of you know that. And what that means is that whether you're working with her on how to become more abundant in life or how to work with the cards that she works with, whether you're looking at angel cards, you're looking at what the energies are you want to bring into your life, either more or less of them, then what you know is that Jane has studied Eastern and Western healing and brings it all together in every session that she does with all of you. So I want to make sure for those of you that are listening, you're probably going to hear some things and think about, how can I have this thing, this life mastery that Jane brings forward? And the way to do that is for sure to go to her website, and that is enlightened-path.com, enlightened-path.com. Today's show is all about love. Today's show is I Am Love. Jane, great show, great topic. And boy, do we need this now. All you need is love, right?
Absolutely. That's all there is. It's what makes everything beautiful in your life. Everything.
Yeah. Let's talk about love. Sometimes we think love is not real, but that's actually the opposite of what it is, isn't it?
It is. Love is who we are. I mean, we're really led to believe that we're everything that our five senses tells us that we are, but we are so much more than that. I mean, there's so much wisdom inside of our soul, and it's where our wisdom lies, and it's where our true self is. And, you know, it's whatever we are seeking is seeking us. And it's our true nature, and love is our true nature. That's our perfection. It's the most important aspect of who we are. And when we connect to that, it's such a powerful thing. I think people forget just how powerful and how gifted they are in this life. The tools that we have just innately to light up the world with our own gifts, whether it's music or creativity or if you paint beautiful works of art, if you write beautiful books, if you teach and you have a gift for speaking to people, these are all your passions, and that comes from your soul, and that comes from your innate being, which is love, and that's who we all are. That's our impersonal self. It's not our sense. It's who we are when our physical body is no longer and is eternal. It's everything. It's our infinite wisdom, always in every lifetime, in every rebirth, in every. It's the all healing, all supplying. It's everywhere, and it's in us, and it's in everyone.
Yeah. I've heard you talk about this as being the real you, about this being the real you in the field of consciousness. And I think that, part of our day-to-day lives is that we forget. We forget that when we come into this world, there's a real us. And that part of who we are is that thing of love, is that thing of kindness, is that thing that doesn't know the many faces of fear. And so, what is it that we should know about our soul, about how to let it guide us, and the impersonal nature of it?
I'm going to quote Rebecca Campbell, who wrote the book Light is the New Black, only because she says it so beautifully, and there's no way I can say it better than she does. But the quote would be, there's a field of consciousness where all wisdom resides, a field where all of the questions that you could possibly phantom live, a field where the past, the present, the future exist simultaneously, where the wisdom of the heavens and the earth calls you by name, where what you are seeking is also seeking you, a field where all soul contracts, history, guidance, whisper eternal, a field where the book of your soul is open for you to connect through. And Rebecca Campbell wrote those words about our unique nature, and it's how we serve. So whenever a passion lights us up, it's who we are. It's like your personal, it's not your resume. It's everything that exists outside of all your senses, outside of what you can see, feel, touch, and hear. It's your innate goodness, and it's your creative gift that you were brought here to this world to do, the work you were meant to do. Like you, Pat, you are doing this beautiful work on Transformation Talk Radio. And it's so needed today. All the positivity and just goodness that comes out of your show, and all the beautiful colleagues who are so gifted. And that's their soul and their gift and their higher wisdom that's speaking and doing all this beautiful, loving work in the world, which is so needed. And that's who we are. That's our impersonal self. That remains when the body does not. That's what gets reborn, lifetime after lifetime.
It's really interesting because when we're not in that place that you're talking about, when we're not in that connection with that which too seeks us, one of the things that I've noticed about myself, Jane, and you work with people all over the world, so and you see it in others, is life gets really uncomfortable. I must say that there have been parts in time in my life, disturbing is an understatement for what happens when there is this thing which I know that I want to bring forward in my life, but all of this stuff gets in the way from the natural happenings. And one of those things we've talked about is fear. I think fear is one of those, fear and worry, those two together. You put those two together, and it's hard for the goodness of the universe to get to us, isn't it?
It is. It blocks us off, and fear blocks our original nature, and it veils, everything that we are. And that's why we need to just be pretty mindful of who and what our unique presence is and how we serve, just by being us, just our special gifts that we came here to share with the world. So, and to just connect with that soul and that essence of who we are, and the stuff that isn't our resume or our physical nature, and that intelligence that's the gift that's always with us, that we can connect to, and that's in each and every single one of us, and that we need to just remind ourselves to listen to and to stay connected to, because once we do that, it's, we are just so much more powerful than we are ever led to believe or educated to believe. We can do everything.
It's an invisible intelligence. It's that thing that is out there. We know it's out there. It's trying to get our attention. And yet, even with all of that, there's something for us to learn about the impersonal nature of who we are, that energy and life force. So, you know, how do we learn to connect with this? Because I'll tell you, my life is so much better. So much better. You know, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, Jane. I mean, honestly, I'm playing in a table tennis tournament this coming weekend, and it's down in Tacoma. And Tacoma's like hours away from me, like, you know, like where you are. That would be like going from like where you are to New York, something like that, right?
Right.
And so, honestly, all of this invisible intelligence says, get a room, Pat. Just get a hotel and go down. Oh my gosh, I like agonized over that last night. And I thought to myself, what is really going on here? It sounds like such a simple thing. What is really going on? Isn't it all of the layers, all of the self-talk, all of the, wait a minute, where do you think you have time to even be away for 3 days, right? Isn't it all of that gets in the way of our impersonal life best?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We forget that we're meant to have fun. You know, we're so busy doing and so busy being, you know, what we think we should be, you know, people pleasing and just, you know, working and providing. And we forget to have fun and to be joyful and to do things that make us happy, because, you know, life sometimes does get in the way, and we forget, you know, we forget to get back a hold of what truly matters. And that's where we're the happiest, is when we're back in our original nature, when we are, you know, we're happiest when we're in, you know, when we're not stressed, when we're not in fear, and that's our original nature.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this in relationship to the soul, because we talk a lot about the soul. And yet the question really is, well, you know, if we have this high regard to the soul and we look at the soul and the soul's purpose, and, you know, the soul is bringing us this endless, infinite number of gifts and intuition and invisible intelligence, why is it we want to put other stuff in the pot that gets in the way? Let's come back, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what does it mean to really have the ego and the soul be friends. Stay tuned, everyone. Jade Matanga is in the house. We'll be right back.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
If you've ever had a broken heart, you know how painful that can be and how long it can sometimes take to heal it. I'm Megan Edge, author of The Heart's Journey, Healing Hearts, Oracle Cards, and Guidebook, published with Balboa Press and Hay House. In The Heart's Journey, I share with you my own heartbreak and how I healed it through the beautiful hearts that found me in nature. From taking photographs of these hearts for myself, I've created this beautiful toolkit, which includes the guidebook, which has my story, how to work with oracle cards as a healing tool, and the story of each of these hearts as they cross my path. I've also created a beautiful journal. There's a pen, a bookmark, and of course, the 42 Healing Hearts Oracle cards. You can order The Heart's Journey, Healing Hearts Oracle Cards, and Guidebook through my website, meganedge.ca, through Balboa Press, Amazon, and many other places online or your local shops. I look forward to hearing about your heart's healing.
Practice living in wholeness with the body tune-up. 6 classes for $89 designed for radical self-healing and self-regeneration. Heal the deepest root of any challenge. The mental body was programmed in negativity, not good enough, separate from source. You're too much, you'll never make it. The emotional body holds all the pain and trauma of emotional suppression, all the pain from this life and lives past. The spiritual body is the place you connect with your higher power, your higher self, with the image and likeness of the One. The physical body houses and expresses the other 3 bodies every day. Go to CorneliaStephanie.com. Evolve, become a practitioner. We need to heal, integrate, and bring into wholeness and harmony the physical body, addressing all the other bodies in order to live in our true, authentic nature.
Benny, who did that cover? Who's doing that? Windward. Stevie Windward.
I honestly don't know if I can even pronounce a name. It's Alessandro, and then it's Taccini. It's Italian, so you could probably get that. Tanacci.
Okay.
Tacci.
There we go. It's either that or one of my Brazilian relatives.
Or Tazzini. It could be Tazzini because like Basili, right?
That's right, Betty. Good one. Jane Matanga is in the house. And like I said, this is your show, folks. 1-800-930-2819. Jane, before we talk about the soul, Benny has got one of our fabulous, fabulous listeners on the line for us.
Yes, we do. We have Liz calling in from Florida. Hello, Liz. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hi. Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
You betcha. We're in Florida.
Well, I'm on the east coast of Florida between, let's say, West Palm Beach and Daytona Beach.
Awesome. Yeah, my folks moved down there to Florida. I was the only one that didn't go. So, keep sending us some sunshine here on the West Coast. Jane's here. How can we help you, Liz?
Well, I was listening, and I was intrigued by the statement that your guest made about love. And I'm on the journey, as all of us in humanity, tracking that love energy. And I believe your guest said that we are love. We are love. And I so believe in that. However, I'm struggling on this journey because I know we are, all of us, and every creature in humanity, I think, has the ability of love. Even with our pets and animals, they love us. You know, we have an affection for them. But I am just struggling, and maybe you all can help me with, why is this love so hard, since that's what we are? I believe we all know that is our essence of love here on this journey. But it seems to be a place of choice. We choose who we want to love, how we want to love, and if we're going to show that love throughout humanity. And when your guest said that we are love, I keep struggling with, yes, if we are love, then why is it so hard to demonstrate that daily in our lives toward everyone?
That's a great question. Believe me, I'm right on top of that. And I think, Jane, that's what I was saying before the break. And boy, Liz, you put this so perfectly. Why, if we are love, why do we show up a lot of the time, sometimes, not love? And Jane, I know you got the answer to that.
Our ego gets in the way, and that's when we are not our true self, because we start thinking about all of our socialization and we start being judgmental, and that's not our true nature, being judgmental. Because when you judge someone else, you're really judging yourself, unless you've walked in somebody else's shoes exactly the way they have. You really can't judge someone. You really don't know what they are experiencing in the way that they do. And we forget that. And it's just because of, our society and the way we're taught, and then we forget. And so it's so important to just remember that this gift that we have, in our soul and who our essence and our light, it's our light. It's that divine life force that's in us. That's, we all think that's outside of us, that it's something outside of us that's doing something to us, but it isn't. It's inside. It's us, and we control that. And it's something that when we can remember to get back in touch with it, it can really change our lives. So, and it's being on the human plane. We're all going to have these moments, even if we're enlightened or more enlightened, the whole life, our life is a journey. That's why we're here. We're here to learn in human form. And so, we're going to have those moments, and those moments teach us, and that's how we learn. That's how we learn to step up, to step out, to not to be afraid, to not be judgmental. And that's really what it is. It's our ego, and it's our training, and it's when we forget who we are that happens.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering with that, and that's a good a response to that, because when I know I'm struggling with, I hear a lot, Jane, that people say we are love. I read it biblically, that love is what we are, and it just bewilders me to say, well, I heard you say that we're more, I think what I was getting from that, we're more ego than love, because ego takes over love. Love is only exhibited as we choose to allow it to be. And I guess, it's like, I guess when I heard you say that, it was like, oh, wow, I believe that, but she must believe that as well. And why can't we all believe that and be in that wonderful place and that positive energy that we want to give out, the love part of us that would make us whom we are in this human tent that we carry around. But I think, too, when you just said that ego, I think ego weighs more than the love factor, because it's a choice. Yeah, we know we are love, we have love, we can show love, but we choose to walk in that other side of the enlightenment of saying we are this, or this with our egos. Yeah.
I think we get caught in it, up in it.
Yeah.
And I don't. And I think we always know that that's not who we are. And it's that, when you pay attention to your senses and your body tells you, and your body gives you messages. And, like when when somebody's not telling you the truth, that's your internal light. When somebody's not telling, and when you're not being your authentic self. And so it's being mindful and being able to flick your ego off your shoulder when it's coming in. It's being present. It's really being present, and knowing when those thoughts are coming into your head, it's being mindful of that, hitting the pause button and saying to yourself, is this really what I want to be thinking and doing? Is that my authentic self? Is that what I want to say, what I want to be, what I want to do? And so it's when you're mindful of that, you can hit the correct button and do a redo.
Yeah. Liz, I used to think that the opposite of love was hate. And I grew up never hating anybody. I don't even understand what hate is. Most of the people in my life say that's because, Pat, your attention span is so short that you can't remember what you are angry at somebody about. I just don't think it's my nature. But what I discovered is that the opposite of love for me is fear. See, I can point to every time in my life when I am either withholding love, and by the way, for myself, starting with myself, it's any time that I've been in this place where, Jane, you were talking about it before, where I forget about the divine intelligence that's out there for me, right? That's there with possibilities, that's there with answers, right? Whenever I have not been able to tap into that, it hasn't been because I'm mad. It's mad has come from being afraid in my life, right? So if I'm not in love, I am in one of the 50 shades of fear. See, there are 50 shades of fear in my life. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody thinks that fear is like, oh my God, there's going to be a tornado, I'm afraid. No. Fear comes in sometimes in the more gentle ways, the more seductive ways. The way that the Rolling Stones talk about it when they talk about Sympathy for the Devil, that song, it's a little bit different. It's this little bit of, oh, maybe I'm not going to wear that tight shirt today. See, like that little thing. Like, why are you not going to wear that shirt today? You love that shirt. Why? Because you think you ate too many potato chips last night. That's why you're not going to wear the shirt today. Do you see what I'm saying, Liz? It's like, I guarantee you that if you look, what Jane was talking about before, the soul knows love. It's not going to bring us fear. If I'm not in a place of love, and by the way, Jane, I think there are like 50 shades of love too, but I just made that up. If I'm not in some of that, then I'm afraid. And I think, Jane, wouldn't you say that probably maybe for Liz is that if she can find that place that's a little bit scary and address it, I know that's the work you do, Jane. You help people get rid of that scary place.
Yeah, I think when you begin to have an understanding and a realization of who you really are, and again, it's really being mindful of when these thoughts come up and just getting back into alignment. And we all do it, and it's okay to get out of alignment. We all have those human moments. None of us, we wouldn't be down here reincarnating if we had learned everything we needed to know. So this is what we're here for. So we just need to listen and learn and make that correction. And it's so true what Pat was saying. It's so true. And I really think that that's the opposite of love is fear. Yeah. That is absolutely the truth.
Yeah. You can read about it, whether you're, let's say that, it doesn't matter what spiritual philosophy you have. You could be Christian, you can be Buddhist, you can be Jewish. It doesn't matter. There are places that you can point to where people have done horrible things in the world. And what's underneath it is fear. There's some level of fear. I'm afraid that if I don't do this, these groups of people are going to not like me. I'm afraid that if I do this, these groups of people. So you see, it's like strange, right? Yeah. It's not like there's a giant lion going to bite my head off. It's just like these little things that we go through life and we say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to make that hotel reservation because why? Because somewhere in my ego, I'm thinking I'm all so much about myself that Transformation Talk Radio can't go on if I decide to go play table tennis for the weekend. Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. As Linda would say to me, you know what? I don't think you're just that big a deal in the world. And she's right. But, part of this is give yourself a break to address the fact that you're human. You're human.
Absolutely.
And I think we're too tough on ourselves too. I think we're very good at punishing ourselves. And instead of staying in our happiness and reminding ourselves like what a great job we did getting through this challenge or that stressful period or something that didn't make sense to us or something that was unkind. If you concentrate on that and all the amazing things that we have all done in our lives, we spend too much time not being in our joy and our happiness. It's the what ifs, the hows that we spend our time with instead of, the gratefulness and the wow, we don't celebrate our achievements, right?
Mm-hmm. But, that's why people, work with you, Jane, because first of all, it is really hard to get out of a 10-foot deep pothole if you don't know you're in it. If you don't know like you're in a pothole, you can't even. And that's why, I work with other people. I work with coaches. And, Liz, the thing I want to say to you is if this is something that shows up in a pattern in your life, this is something that you can change, right? you could change it. You called into the show. So first thing is you're way aware of it. So thank you for doing that. Did we answer your question?
Yes, you ladies did, and I thank you so much for having me and allowing me to express my question. And I am on the journey of transformation and transcending my thoughts and on this journey of enlightenment. And when I tuned in and saw this transformational radio, it was very interesting for me. And I just was listening, and everything that you all are addressing today is really for me today on the journey. So I thank you, and you did answer my questions, and I'm still traveling enlightenment.
Yeah, boy, me too. I'm on it. Let's take a short break, everybody. Let's get on that enlightenment train with us. Jane Matanga is in the house. I'm Dr. Pat. We'll be right back. We're going to take a shorty.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com.
Learn about the heart and soul of justice. In Law and Disorder Radio, Megan Lyons will be raising the universal consciousness by empowering listeners with their own inner strength. Megan will show you how to find true healing and inner peace through the art and practice of self-love. From victim to victor. Tune in every first and third Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information about Megan Lyons, visit her website, enterthelight.llc.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Tune in to E3 Influence Radio. Own your impact. Master your world. In this new hit show, Sarah Luce, empowerment coach and spiritual mentor, teaches us how to achieve our greatest potential to positively affect everything and everyone. The time is now to enlighten our minds, empower our hearts, and take energized action to raise the consciousness of our planet. Sarah shows us how with simple, easy-to-implement steps. To find out more about Sarah Luce and her E3 Influence program, visit sarahluce.com.
Do you believe you are meant to live with more joy, but you're just not sure how to get it? What does the phrase, "give me the joy," make you feel? Join me, Lynn Horde, every second and fourth Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, on the Gimme the Joy Show, as I take you on a journey to peel back the layers so you can take back your joy. To find out more about my work as a joy coach, including my popular programs Joy School and Joy at Work, visit lynnhorde.com.
High-frequency healing for an amazing life with Source Light Radio. Join host Laura Barton each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she explores Source Light integration, a unique spectrum of energy, light, and frequency. Experience instantaneous healing and amazing shifts in consciousness with Source Light Integrations Radio. For more information on Laura and her work, visit sourcelightintegrations.com.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Jane Matanga's in the house. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We're taking your calls. 1-800-930-2819. This is Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga. Today, we're talking about I Am Love. Here's what I want to invite everybody to do. Whether you believe it or not, join me in a 7-day challenge. A 70-day challenge. 70-day challenge. That's 70 times a day. For 70 days, thanks to Jane, you're going to say out loud, I am love, whether you believe it or not. You ready to do it? 70 times a day for 70 days, I am love. And Jane, this is just one thing, but I don't know about you. I had to figure out that I could not take this journey alone. And that's why you're doing the work that you do. How can people work with you? How can they find out more about you? And what is the best phone number for them to call?
My phone number is 203-631-4275. And my website is info@enlightened-path.com.
Good. And that was your email. And the website is enlightened-path.com.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let's talk about this notion of I am love, perfect, whole, and complete. How do we become aware of this divine intelligence, this invisible energy within us, especially if we become so crusted over?
You have to be aware that this is always speaking to you when you light up with a passion. When you get a brilliant idea of something you want to do or create in your life or be, that is your divine intelligence. That is your inner knowing, your highest wisdom, your infinite consciousness, whatever way you want to call it, your soul, your infinite mind. It's everywhere. And if you pay attention to it and you take time to listen to it, I think part of the time, we're just so busy. Life is so busy. We're so plugged in to everything all the time. The world is a noisy, busy place. And we need to unplug in order to kind of get back in touch with, who we are and that real place within, that creative source. And it's the greatest part of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's innate within every single one of us. And I think once we realize that who we really are, it's very powerful. And look at what people have created in the world. I mean, that is the power of our essence and our divine infinite love and source. We look at what we create and we make in this world and what people are so capable of doing. We forget how powerful, how gifted what we have. And it's all inside, it's all inside of us. It's all there. It's, you have to believe that it is true. I mean, even the scientists have written that there is a intelligence and a universal source behind everything that aligns the planets, that opens the roses, that so many books have been written on it. I mean, this has been talked about by masters and Eastern and Western healers for centuries. And, our spirit and our true source and our, what's within. It's very powerful.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, too, is we not only talk about it in terms of, our sciences. We know about the sciences and we know definitely about the energy of things, but also in the field of psychology and spirituality, there is this notion about what happens when we look within and what happens when we look out. And those are not the same necessarily. However, I think it has been said that if we can master the way that we look within and look within for our guidance, our intelligence and wisdom, then when we look outside, that can become a reflection of that which is in. And if we don't look in and say, what's going on in there, Pat? What's going on in there, Jane? Is there something going on in there that's open up to the divine intelligence and guidance that's trying to talk to you? Then we're not going to hear the messages. We're not going to hear what's being said to us. I'm not going to dial a wrong phone number and then don't hang up and go on the journey of my life purpose. I'm just not. I'm not going to stay quiet enough to hear that voice. But this is really the key. How do we create that vision from looking within? How do we create the vision for the outside world by looking within?
Well, when you're in touch with who you really are, you are unstoppable. when you have passion in your life and that's who you are, whatever your specific gift is, and we all have a gift that we came here to do, but that's in our soul and that's the passion. When we are coming from passion, that is our true nature. And that is what allows us to be able to create amazing things, whether it's to do Transformation Talk Radio, whether it's to be a host on Transformation Talk Radio and talk about positive things in people's lives so you can help people make the shift and help to make them believe in themselves and rediscover who they are. Joseph Brenner said in his book, there was a chapter called Finding Me. And he writes about how to get in touch with that, how to get in touch with who we are. And he says we are all God, that impersonal intelligence, whether you want to call it God, soul, or spirit, it's the best and surest way you may know me is when selfless love fills your heart and there is a strong and compelling urge to help someone. That's who we are. The kindness, the love, the joy, to bring happiness to a point and to point out the true way. That is the actual feel of me within you. So your resume aside, all that physical stuff that we're taught to pay attention to, our five senses, our hearing, our seeing, and our physical bodies, that aside, and it's what's inside, and it's what I created them as avenues for expression of my real nature, which is perfect love. And that's what Joseph Brenner talks about in his book called The Invisible, Source in Finding Me. And it's so important to just get in touch with that source of who we are, to unplug and to de-stress and to concentrate on joy. Yeah. Concentrate and do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I mean, this is really one of those things that when we really think about it, we think about the divine intelligence that resides within each and every one of us. What we come to, if we're lucky enough in this lifetime, is realize how difficult we make life, and we don't have to. How difficult we make it. I was fortunate enough to have someone hand me a book by Viktor Frankl, when I was really struggling, when I was really struggling a bunch of years back. And they handed me this book, and I thought, I'm not really interested in reading. Why do I want to read anything? And I read a book, and what I was really struck by is watching a man's journey in a concentration camp and having his message and his demonstration of what he did in that camp to save lives and to save his life, because he had a different point of view of what he was going through while he was there. To read about that and to read about, the search of meaning in life, and to know that that still applies, even, Jane, in a concentration camp, certainly should be a book that we are reading today in today's world to help us, right?
Absolutely.
To help us find our way. I got a press release today that came from somebody who said the latest study shows that the old paradigm of talking about how many people are addicted to opioids, of opioid prescriptions, that now has been replaced. And the article reports now that the most prescribed drug we have is not the painkillers, it's anti-anxiety medication. And that really does talk to, for us, the level of fear that our group consciousness is bringing forth, isn't it?
It really does. And that's the reason that we need to get back to paying attention to who we really are, and to unplug and to concentrate on being what brings us joy and what brings us happiness. And Viktor Frankl's book, the Holocaust survivor that you were talking about, when you see such, as you were pointing out, such devastation, such horrific, the worst of, that must have been the worst of times in humanity, being in a camp like that and coming out and writing a book the way he did, very, very powerful. And it really does speak to, as you so pointedly pointed out, what he learned from all of that and all that horrific cruelty, the worst of how people were being treated and tortured, and yet look at, that was his true nature, love, and that was his message in the book, and how to be kind and how to be loving, and having a happy life and concentrating on that. I mean,
regardless of what your environment is.
Regardless,
right? Regardless of what your environment is. I want to ask you this question. I want to talk a little bit about the work that you do with people, because I think it's important for us, to take a moment and, look at why this message is so important to you and what it is, Jane, that you've said yes to in the world. And now, through what you're doing is, how is it, you've been given the gift to help other people. Let's talk about that, because not only are you a coach, right? But, right. You are somebody that integrates both, the intuitive nature of coaching, life mastery, angel card readings, all of the above. And so the work that you do is to bring those things together and share your gifts and talents to help other people do the same. Tell us a little bit how you approach this with people.
Well, the reason I really made this my mission in life is because I've been reading so many articles about, how our society is really not plugged into happiness. The latest Gallup poll, I think, showed only 13% of the population in the United States was passionate about what they did. So that speaks volumes to me. And that's really where I hone in, is getting you back to that, getting you back to your joy, getting you back to alignment, getting you back to really what's important in your life, and kind of programming. I don't love that word, but repositioning how you really think and perceive your life is, and in the way that you make decisions and how you view your life. It makes such a huge difference in your approach. Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Yeah. And that's it right there. Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah. I mean, but, it's also part of having somebody witness your life journey. And that's what you do when you work with people. We're able to witness other people in a way that allows them to show up and talk about what's going on in their lives. Because you know this and I know this, half the time when we try to talk to our friends and we try to talk to our family, basically their message is, you know what, just move on, or just suck it up, or, yeah, that's bothering you, so what? So what? And yet it's bothering us for a reason. And we need a place to be able to share what's going on with us so we could move beyond it. No, I don't mean pseudo move beyond it, where you do suck it up and then you get sick or something from that. But I mean, really let go of it emotionally, spiritually, and physically, right? And that's what you help people do too.
It's really the only way you live. Otherwise, you're living in the past. You're living with regret. You're living with doubt. You're living with fear. You're living with, everything is in your wake. And how does that move you forward? It doesn't. And so then what kind of life is that? When you get to the point where you realize that you are not enjoying, you're waking up every day and it's not your happiest spot. I mean, that's when you need to do something to reconnect. And so that you can have that, because everybody can have that. You just have to do a little work, and you have to rethink the way you think and approach life, and what you put your mind on and what you pay attention to. how you speak to others, even. It's all of that. And once you get back in alignment, you really can find your joy. You can be happy again and live a different life. I mean, everybody can do it. You know, there's hope, and there's real power in that.
Yeah. And there's real potential to take positive action in your life. And I think that's what we're talking about, because, you know, many of us know what it's like to be immobile, to not be able to move forward, you know, to be stuck is a word we like to use, stuck. I'm stuck. But the bottom line is we're not really living our life's purpose. Stuckness is not a life purpose, just so you know. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. And who hasn't been there? We all have. We've all had challenges, you know, but you don't stay there. You can't. You know, what kind of life is that? What kind of choice is that? You know, you are, every single one of us is entitled to joy and happiness, and we can all have that. You know, we just sometimes have to refocus, rethink. Sometimes you need a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, and you can get there. We all can. You know, if you have the desire to be happy and to be that person that you were meant to be, you can get. That's all you need. You just need the desire to be happy.
Well, let's talk. I know we got a couple of minutes left. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, and I wanted you to share with people, is, you know, to get to the place where we come to understand that this divine intelligence is available to us. I know in my life, I have not always been there, but somewhere along the line, somebody said something to me like this. They said, you know, I know you don't have faith. I know you don't believe that there is going to be a better day for you. So I want you to borrow my faith. I believe there's going to be a better day for you. I want you to borrow my faith. And that was easy for me to do. Part of the work that you do is, you know, you see that faith, you see that potential for people. What can we say to folks today that want to get to whatever the next level is in their life? What can we say to them to help them understand how to get to their highest self?
Everybody can get to your highest self. You know, everybody has different stages that they can take and little steps that they can take to create a better life for yourself. All it takes is a little bit of discipline, a little bit of belief, and the willingness to do it, but mainly to want it. You have to want it. You have to want to be happy.
Yeah.
If you want to be happy, you are going to be happy, and you're going to do the work, and you'll be happy. You just have to be ready for that, and be ready and open to see it and want it bad enough to be it. And then you can. You know, all of us can do anything. We can have the life that we want. We've all had challenges. Look at people who've gone through horrific things, who have created a beautiful life for themselves. And what was the difference between those people and the ones who didn't? It was their mindset. It was being able to walk through the fear and step into that and say, you know, I'm not going to wake up like that every day. I'm going to take responsibility for my life, and I am going to be happy. I'm going to work at being happy, whatever that takes, because that's a life I want, period. You know?
Yeah.
And that's within every single one of us. So it's just being aware and working at it every day. You know, it's a lifelong practice. It's not magic. It's lifelong practice. We have to just be aware and work at it.
I love it. Jane, thank you for today, and thank you for all that you do. One last time, what's the best phone number for people to contact you at?
You can reach me at 203-631-4275 and enlighten-path.com.
Awesome. Jane Matanga, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. For more about us, go to transformationtalkradio.com. I just want to remind everybody that we've got another hour coming up on Transformation Talk Radio. Jane, thank you so much for everything. Awesome. Benny, thank you for pushing all the right buttons. Carter, thank you for making us look so great. And to all of you, thank you for inspiring us to do what we do in the world. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next week as Jane helps you unlock and reclaim the magic in your life. For more information on Jane Matanga or to listen to past shows, visit her website at enlightened-path.com or growyoursoulradio.com. And don't forget to ask Jane about her amazing intuitive life mastery session. See you next time.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.